Last week, you may remember a video where I strapped on the proverbial water skis and prepared for a well-supervised stunt involving a large ocean-dwelling creature made entirely out of teeth. And if you don't get that joke, then congratulations, you never watched Happy Days. And I'm really not being sarcastic about that. I don't know, it wasn't my thing. We're back to knives now and not the more expensive brand name melamine foam, which I should have bought way cheaper off Amazon as the generic stuff. I know, I read the comments. And this video specifically is for the updated Kershaw Natrix, which you have been seeing show up on all the internet knife review tabletops for the past 2 months, including Austria's finest gear reviewing YouTuber, A Little Older, whose video about this Natrix, I'll link at the end. Subscribe to him. But before we get into the real knife demonstration video art, let's look at the dimensions of this update to a knife I think Kershaw released last year in a slightly different trim. A statement I did not research well enough, but I went and looked at some YouTube videos. Like the overall length and weight. I don't really research anything, you know that though. Blade size, cutting edge. So what do you research or do that is a complete waste of your time on the internet? Now before you answer, remember if you don't have anything nice to say, handle size, grip area. Then you might be a student loan servicer. Sorry, student loan servicing YouTube viewing demographic. Spine thickness, handle thickness. You know I've been out of college for 16 years now. I know, hard to believe. It's that youthful appearance. Tallness, flipper tabs. I think in 2024 I'll have all of those student loans paid off. I heard YouTube was lucrative, so that's why I'm here. I went to YouTube video art school. So the good news is, though, that the Kershaw Natrix with carbon fiber overlays is a good knife for under $50. So if you also wasted money on an industry-specialized for-profit college, you too can own this knife. Of course, if you made the smart choice and went into, say, computer science at a traditional college, you might be able to afford the knife that this one is based off of, the Zero Tolerance 0770, which is based off the 0777, which won an award of some kind, according to Kershaw's website. You know PBR won an award too, right? Let's look at the blade, shall we? It features a drop point that resembles a sheep's foot in a way, depending on how much you've been drinking. You know that sheep has real nice feet. Okay, maybe not that much. It's covered in a titanium carbonitride covering, and the blade is made from 8CR13 MOV, sometimes known as D2 or M390 or S35 VN, if you buy a cheap knife directly from China. It has a decent sized cutting edge and some fine spine jimping on the top. Not quite like a Spyderco texture, but close. Good try, Kershaw. Deployment of the blade is handled by a flipper tab that is not assisted, but it has a strong detent, like the Kershaw Fraction I reviewed last year. I think that was last year. The knives are kind of similar in spirit, the Fraction being smaller, but having a light, mostly G10 frame and handle. This knife also can be deployed consistently with minimal effort. Minimal effort like these videos. Most is the initial press and then pop, it rockets out. It's actually almost harder to keep it from deploying fully if you try. Lockup is handled by something called a sub-frame lock, which is a patented Kershaw feature, but looking at it and just being an idiot about it, it's a metal piece attached to G10 with screws. So the knife doesn't have to have a full liner or even a partial one. It reduces carry weight, but also keeps the blade a nice size as well as the handle. One thing I noticed after a few hundred deployments is that the blade centering was off. The pivot had loosened a bit, and after tightening, it re-centered itself. The pivot is easy enough to tighten and apparently has no Loctite, which is a bonus. BYOLT. D10 is strong. It's not possible to fling open downward gravity style. Handle is, as mentioned, made primarily from G10 with no liners. It has a backspacer, so it's only partially open backed. Thin carbon fiber overlays match the hood of your car, your four-door cord with the car seat in the back. So for a lightweight everyday carry knife, I don't see any reason to make a handle out of steel or even titanium. Pocket clip, deep carry short, tip up in right or left pocket because it's swappable. However, no tip down deployment is possible, which relatively few people should complain about. Note the word relatively. And I just got this question recently from a new subscriber. My preferred carry, hey, at least one person cares, when I'm wearing pants, tip up, blade backward in my right pocket, and I'm right-handed. A left-handed person, well, I don't know why they exist. Pocket clip has the right amount of tension. I would like the tip of the clip to be a little less aggressive of an angle, but that's a minor nitpick. You may catch your wrist on it if you're swinging your arms as you walk, if you're that type of dude. Comparisons, we'll keep this short. The video doesn't need to be 10 minutes. I mean, it could be. There's nothing wrong with 10 minutes. Maybe it will be. The Natrix, blue and black. I think the knife is nice looking. The handle is kind of comfortable. I say kind of comfortable because the edges of the G10 are a little edgy. They probably need to be knocked down with a bit of sandpaper. I like a grip area of about 3.5 inches so I can move my hand around a bit if I should need to. A little smaller isn't bad, I guess. Not everyone needs large knives and large handles. I own a few Kershaws, and this one would be most likely to show up in a pocket rotation. It's kind of the right size and weight and looks. Now the fraction. Nice. A coworker asked me once what a good small knife was, and I recommended this one. Hopefully he doesn't hate it now. I think he watches the channel. It's a fast deployer, and you barely know it's in your pocket. Not everyone needs handles and blades over 3 inches. I know, surprise. How about the Cryo 2? Hinder designed. But cheap. A little too heavy for me, and not quite big enough. And I don't really need an assisted knife when a non-assisted knife like the Natrix is nearly as good. None of my favorite knives are assisted anyway. My rule of thumb is if a blade and handle are not the ideal size for me, which this one are a little small, and it's over 4 ounces, I just don't carry it. Let's look at the Paramilitary 2. A little bit larger of a handle. The blade is ideal too. I like this for my, everyday carry, so this is a good frame of reference for a popular knife. It's $100 more, though, than the Natrix. Sometimes I have a hard time recommending a good, light, modern, snappy deploying knife that's affordable. That's not a Spyderco. The Natrix fits that bill. It's sort of comparable to the Spyderco Tenacious in price point and a similar steel, but a little lighter and slightly smaller. And I think it's nicer looking than the Tenacious, which is kind of plain in its black G10 scales. Wrap it up. The Natrix is a fine everyday carry blade if you're on a budget. Sure, knife snobs don't like HCR13, but to a person who doesn't mind sharpening a bit more often, then it's a good budget choice. I own many knives in a lot of different steels, but that's never been the main reason why I like a knife or choose to carry it more often. My last 2 larger knife purchases were both Spydercos, and the looks, handle materials were my first considerations when spending money I didn't have. Many of the knife designs I like, from the looks to the ergonomics, tend to have a good steel already, so it's almost like a coincidence, or maybe it's not coincidental. And as a note of caution on the batoning of lightweight knife designs, they are not designed for this, and it voids your warranty. Plus, you might injure yourself or a nearby drunk loved one who is holding your beer. Yeah, hit that wood! Ha! Get it! The blade stop pin popped out because of the flex of the G10 and the repeated hard whacking of a log. Luckily, my knife was easily fixed by partially disassembling the knife, praying to Lynn Thompson that I could find the stop pin to finish my review. Then the Lord himself smiled down. He was wearing that black tie and that dress shirt, surrounded by 1,000 flaming dismembered pig heads. It was beautiful, like the tactical book of Revelation. Where was I? Oh yeah, I found it. This, of course, is not a reflection on the construction of the knife, but a reflection of my poor character and a terrible sense of humor. The testament is I was able to fix the knife and return its operation to normal, boring, everyday carry things, like cutting. It just, was temporarily out of service. So if you like this sort of review, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, leave a comment. I started my Patreon recently. You're like, yeah, I saw you groveling on Instagram. Oh. Well, I'll link it in the video description. Signing up for a donation there helps me afford stuff to review for the channel when companies don't answer my emails. And I feel like there's a chance for self-reflection here, to take some personal responsibility. That thing you think everyone else should take. The problem is other people don't take personal responsibility. Not me, not you. That's it. That's why I started a Patreon. Although Kershaw did send me this knife to review, so that's cool. They may not be returning my emails after this. Patreon helps maintain my camera and video making equipment. If you're watching this video, it means I was able to successfully upgrade my failing hard drive on my 2011 iMac I bought in 2012. Refurbished. If you don't see this video in the last week of July, well, some shit went down and it took longer than expected. Also, if you occasionally like giveaways and photos of knives, follow me on Instagram. However, if you don't want to join Instagram for a crappy giveaway, that's not my problem. Thanks for watching.